Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm a Texas Monthly staffer who likes to cook, and I'm using classic Texas Monthly recipes for my take on a Texas dinner party with a Southern Gulf theme. This cornbread recipe can go with any meal, but it fits really well within this menu. I can use the bacon grease from our deviled eggs and easily whip this up while I'm also cooking the gumbo. And if you haven't seen those recipes, feel free to check them out and then meet me back here. For the cornbread, it's got 3 easy parts, the dry ingredients, the wet ingredients, and the mix-ins. I'm gonna start with the mix-ins, that way they're ready to go, so when we mix everything together, we don't over-mix the cornbread. So it's just gonna be a 1/4 cup of chopped sweet onion and chopped poblano, which will be about half of a poblano. We've also got a 1/4 cup of frozen corn and a 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese. So those are all ready and waiting to go. So now I'm gonna get started on the dry ingredients. A 1/4 cup of flour, just all-purpose flour. Make sure that's a full one. There we go. A full cup of yellow cornmeal, just coarse, basic yellow cornmeal. 1½ teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon, and 1 teaspoon for 1½ total. And then the last thing is just a teaspoon of kosher salt. That looks good. Okay. Whisk everything together and kind of get it evenly incorporated and set aside. And then the next part is the wet ingredients. A whole cup of buttermilk and then an egg. We're just gonna whisk that together as well. Your standard baking procedure. We are just going to fold this in, and like with biscuits or anything else, you want to slowly incorporate so things don't get too dense. And then I'm gonna take our cast iron that we had from our previous recipe that had bacon drippings in it. I'm gonna pop that in the oven just to warm it up a little bit. The oven is set to 450, and the pan's already a little warm because, as you'll notice in the previous video, I'm doing this in between a gumbo recipe. So just stick it in to warm it up a little bit. And then I guess we can go ahead and add everything. So I'm gonna add my peppers and onions, cheddar cheese, some corn, and then we just get it all mixed together. It's like a little confetti of poblano and cheddar cheese. Your bacon grease might be smoking just a little bit, which is what you want. And then your batter is gonna go directly into this hot bacon grease with this hot bacon grease. Oh yeah. So that's the sizzle you want. So scoop it all in, kind of distribute it around. It looks beautiful. And then you're gonna pop it back in the oven for 20 minutes. Okay. This is a really quick recipe if you're gonna do the gumbo like we have going in our dinner party menu. This is the perfect thing to do while your soup is simmering and your roux is going. So that's it. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I love it. It's brown, it's golden, it's delicious. Ooh, it's hot. Okay, that looks amazing. The only thing I'm gonna do to kind of give it a little special touch is I'm gonna put a big pat of butter right in the top while it's still hot, and that'll just melt. And so if you are able to do this in the middle of your other cooking of your other recipes, like I think is totally possible, then this will be ready to sort of bring out right as your meal is coming out to your guests. So enjoy. Yeah. This is classic cornbread from Texas Monthly. So there's a little slice for you. Okay, so this has got onions, poblano, corn, no sugar.
Okay, so it's not a sweet cornbread.
It's not a sweet cornbread.
Okay.
Lots of cornbreads have sugar in it. Not this one. This is your savory Texan cornbread.
Mm.
This is like a meal, really.
Yeah, you can also really taste the cheese, which I appreciate.
I do too.
In most cornbreads where it has cheese, you can't.
How do you feel about it for springtime? Because we talked about this before.
Yeah.
So we designed this for a springtime menu, which I think the seafood does well.
I mean, deviled eggs are pretty traditional Easter food. Mm-hmm. So I feel like this could make a great like Easter lunch brunch.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, y'all. This is Texas Monthly's classic cornbread. It seems like the judges liked it pretty well. So if you want the full recipe, go to texasmonthly.com.